all you awesome Lake listeners. Thank you for coming back for more of Season 2 with the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. On the show today is a very special guest, an agent who has been in the business for 9 years and counting. She recently won the first place primary by commission for 2020, on top of being a member of the 100% Club, the REMAX Executive Club, and the VIP Women of the Year Circle inductee of National Associations of Professional Women, to name a few. It's my pleasure to welcome my friend, Miss Vicki Lloyd. Vicki, thanks so much for being here. I am so pumped to talk about you and your story and everything around it.
Well, thank you. I'm really honored to be here today and that you asked me to do this.
Yeah, so, I love it. I love
it. Great.
So, Vicki, why don't we just start by you just giving us a little history about yourself and just who you are as a person?
Well, let's see. That's a long story. So we'll cut out some of the less interesting parts of it. So one of the things I wanted to do as a young woman, I decided that I wanted to always be a flight attendant. And so I did that. That was one of my goals.
Neat.
And that's how I started out. From there, I transitioned over into, working in an office.
Okay.
After school. And then from there, I went into a company that I worked for and he was the Jiffy Lube franchisee in Kansas City.
Okay.
And I did commercial development. I managed to build all of their buildings, 15 buildings in the Kansas City market. And somewhere along the line, when you work for a small company, you get to do a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. So I became the insurance guru, which I never really thought I would be, but and human resources vice president and vice president of construction and development.
Oh, wow.
So I worked for them for quite a while, got out of that, big changes in that corporation, and I went to work for Burger King Corporation.
Well, that's kind of where I wanted to transition. You had mentioned previously that you were a senior project manager for Burger King Corporation and the vice president of a development, construction, and human resource in Kansas City. So what were those careers like, and kind of what brought you from them to transitioning here to the Lake and into real estate?
Well, in order to come from the Jiffy Lube franchise, which was Kansas City PM, which is where I had been for probably 14 years, they got bought out. And so it was one of those situations where it just wasn't what it was in the past.
Right.
We had a culture that was really meant a lot to me, and they were trying to destroy it. I said, I can't.
Right.
I can't stay.
Yeah.
And then I transitioned into Burger King, and I went in as a development manager because I had a construction real estate background in commercial.
Okay.
So I chose sites for franchisees and helped them build the restaurants. But it just never was enough to keep me busy because I like to stay busy. Mm-hmm. So one of the vice presidents created a new program, and it was project management. And what we did was we managed anything that happened in the 11,000 restaurants worldwide.
Wow.
As far as equipment or training was concerned on that equipment. Mm-hmm. And so the last project we had, it took 4 years to do it. There were like 5 of us. And I had everything west of the Mississippi, geographically. Mm-hmm. So we installed a new piece of equipment that was critical to the business, to the food cooking platform.
Right.
And that's what we did. And we did coffee install. They changed out coffee. So whatever it entailed, if it had anything to do with equipment or food processing, then that's what we did. So we managed all of those projects for the corporation. And so then that got bought out by another company, and they decided that anybody over 40 could not understand a paradigm shift, and so they let us all go.
Oh, wow. Well, it's interesting to me how you were involved with all of that. I mean, I could imagine building commercially at that level. That's something that I've never understood, and I love hearing that you were involved with that. I mean, that had to have been what I could imagine, a lot on your plate, here and there with getting that developed. So,
But I had already been a construction manager, a superintendent for a home builder.
Okay.
My dad was a contractor.
Oh, okay.
My husband was a contractor.
Oh, so you kind of grew up with it.
I grew up, I grew
okay.
up around it. And so it just came naturally. I mean, you're either going to build a house or you're going to build a building. And so just predicated on what the building is, the requirements. A Jiffy Lube is totally different than a Burger King from the, certain standpoints, but on the outside of it, it's about the same building. So,
Yeah.
So that wasn't, it's just construction is all it is.
So what brought you here to the lake and transitioned?
Well, when I left Burger King, we all got to go out the door. I didn't have anything. We had the house in Kansas City, and we had a house here at the lake, and my daughter and son-in-law lived down here at that time.
Okay.
And my daughter was pregnant, and we didn't think we'd ever have any grandkids, and so she was delighted when, I told her that I was gonna, I was leaving Burger King. I said, I gotta find something. I gotta get a job somewhere.
Absolutely.
Because I got too much real estate.
Yeah.
And so she goes, oh, this is great. You can move down to the lake. And I had bought another house down here, and we were renovating it. And she says, we'll just move out of your house, and we'll go into the other house that we've been, renovating to rent. And I thought, and she goes, and then you can join me, because she works at Remix.
Well, yeah, and I was going to transition there. You had mentioned to me a while ago that your daughter and you formed a team, and that she had transitioned kind of more with her passion with coaching, and you kind of took over the team. So what was that like for you? You were getting into that with her.
Well, that was her suggestion. She said, we'll just become a team, and you can just work with me, and I thought, and I went, well, okay.
Right.
You're starting to work with, a relative. Sometimes it's different.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, geez, now I have to go get a real estate license again, because I hadn't had one for a while. I didn't need one. And I'd had one previously, in the Kansas City market. So then I had to go back to school.
Oh, yeah.
Which was interesting. And so I did. And then when I came down here and I interviewed with Jeff, and he was okay with it, that was nice. Because they didn't, they knew Camille, my daughter.
Right.
They just didn't know me. So I passed, thank God, the first time. And so we started working together. And then initially it was just the two of us. And then she wanted to add a couple more people, and they came on, and then they would, just back and forth. And she'd been in it long enough that she was kind of like tired.
Yeah.
Tired of that. And so then she started transitioning to like agent coaching. Had met a coach, was interested in his business, and then decided that was the way she wanted to go.
That's fantastic.
So by then it was we were back to just the two of us anyway. And so I just said, I'll just become a primary agent. I can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm the team.
Well, that's awesome. Do you consider yourself to kind of have a niche or a specialty within your business?
I don't think so much as a specialty. It's just because I've been in customer service for so many years that I bring that to this.
Right.
Because it is all about customer service. It's about how do you want to be treated when you walk into a restaurant or when you walk into the store.
Absolutely.
So it's not rocket science here. If you can treat people well, and that's the way you want to be treated, then they'll stay with you.
Well, I love that. I want to come back to that, but fast forwarding a little bit, you have several awards and recognitions under you now that you've been in it and going for 9 years. Some of which are the ones I mentioned at the beginning of the show, along with your ABR, GRI, and RSPS designations. Honor Flight Guardian, and the Veterans Committee member at the Osage Beach Elks Lodge. You won first place this year for primary agent by commission for 2020, which I will never forget.
I won't either.
What did that mean to you? Like I said, I'll never forget when they called your name. I thought it was so powerful.
No, it was a distinct surprise. I knew I had done well. this year or last year. But I thought maybe third. I thought there's a possibility. I may have third. And then when Tammy got it, I thought, okay, well, I just. And then Terry got it. I thought, oh well, I guess that was it. Didn't do it. When Jeff called my name, that was it. I was like,
for first place, too.
No, that was too much. It was just too much for me, and it meant a lot. And when I think back when I did start in 2012, I thought, never do that. I wasn't a salesperson. I mean, I have never done that, and I've always been a relationship person, a customer service, that kind of, and I thought, I'll just die. I won't make anything. I won't make any money. And then I started building it. And I guess the biggest thing that's so important to 2020 was that probably 80% of my transactions that I did were either past clients, referrals from my past clients.
Oh, wow.
They weren't new people. They were all, so that's, over that period of time that I've built up, and these are people that continue to call me and or recommend me, and that's the heart of my business.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal of any new agent coming in, so that's fantastic that you saw such a return off of your relationships that you've spent so much time building. That's fantastic.
And there's a great deal of these people are actually my friends.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we go to dinner, we, do things together, or they'll just call up and just ask, how you're doing.
That has to be so rewarding, too, to be able to help them and have that special connection. That's really cool.
And it's what's neat about it is that, they are your friends. They really are on your side, and they're your friends. And we have a good time. If they decide they want to buy something again, it's always, laughing and carrying on because we're comfortable with one another now.
Well, I'm definitely glad to be one of your friends.
Thank you.
And I want to get back to what you were saying before I asked you that question. You had emphasized that you believe that the sayings treat others how you would want to be treated and also knowledge is power are some that mean a lot to you. So can you expand on this and why they mean so much to you in your business?
Well, it goes back to the customer service is understanding. And when I worked in human resources, people forget, okay? So when I worked for a large corporation, Burger King Corporation, it was a big corporation.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we would be in the corporate office, and I would see how these people would never answer the phone. And they had obligations, and they didn't, they didn't follow through with them. And I was always like, you have a customer.
Right.
Even though maybe you're in accounting or maybe you're the maintenance guy, you've got a customer. You have to just stop and think about it. And that's what I always try to think about is that who's my customer? Okay. Who do I want to take care of? And we all have customers. We just have to remember it. But a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
And they don't understand how,
Well, it's definitely a great reminder and something to, train your mindset to think about any time that you have an interaction pop up. What about the knowledge is power?
Well, knowledge is power came from one of my favorite movies is Auntie Mame. That was an older movie.
I've seen that.
And yes, she spoke to that. And I always admired that movie because she never let anything get her down because she just kept pushing, but she was smart. She was extremely smart. And she would talk to her nephew about, oh, you don't know what this word is? Then you need to look it up and you need to learn what it is. And then we'll talk about it. And she would, somewhere in one of their conversations, she said that. And I always thought, that's really important. The more you know, the more knowledge that you acquire. And so that's why my first year as an agent, I took the GRIs. Which was, at that time, that was difficult because you had to go to 12 different locations for 2 days to do it. And so I actually did it. I started in April, and I finished it like in November.
Is that the same one that Susan was talking about, Susan Ebling, about how it's kind of like equivalent to getting your master's degree? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I did that one, and then right after it, then I said, I'm going to go ahead and do the ABR. And then as soon as I did the ABR, then I went ahead and did the RSPS. Now, I need to go back, and I haven't done that because I would prefer to get a couple of more designations, just simply because the more I know, the more powerful I can be.
Yeah, and the better that you can serve.
Can I help you a little bit better? Because I learned a lot in GRI, and I was so glad I took it that first year. And a lot of people, they were afraid to do it. But I thought, I got to be able to learn a little bit more.
And as long as you're in real estate, there's no time frame on when you said you took it your first year, so you don't have to be in the business for X amount or anything.
No, they don't. That doesn't matter. But you have to finish it within a specific amount of time. At that time, you did. But I was able to get it done because I just kept pushing at it. So that's I always tell my granddaughter. That's what I tell her. Knowledge is power. Okay. When you're getting frustrated at class, I need for you to understand something. The smarter you are, the more successful you will be, and the more powerful you will be.
Oh, I love that.
Everything you do.
Yeah, I love that, especially when you're talking about giving that advice to such a influential age demographic. I know, I'm a parent of a daughter as well, and I mean, not to make it gender specific on any level, because it's not. It's definitely, I think, a really great thing to just pass down to children, some of those key tidbits of life, that they can hang on to. So I really respect that.
It is, and it was one of the things that I was fortunate in, that my dad he never told me, you can't do that because you're a girl.
Oh, okay. I love that.
He always said, okay, if you want to drive that, you can do it. That was it.
Yeah.
There wasn't any question. So my dad was a contractor. And one day my mother was off someplace else, going to the store or whatever. And I had to go on the job. And my dad put me up on the roof and said, sit across the top of the roof. Don't move.
Right. And
just sit there and watch. And so I did, when I didn't fall off. And so that was a positive. And so he never thought that there was anything that stopped me.
Well, and you probably learned a lot having that experience, and took it, in your higher career levels and things like that, which is pretty cool. I know a lot of young women probably don't get that kind of eye-opening experience most of the time. So transitioning a little bit, one thing that I love about you is that you say that you're a relationship proponent, which I feel fits your personality so well. So what do you love most about meeting new clients and building rapport?
Just the opportunity to see, maybe where they came from. I wouldn't have met them under any other circumstances. So this gives me an opportunity to build a friendship with somebody that maybe is from Illinois or Iowa or, and fortunately, because when I worked for Burger King, I did a tremendous amount of travel. And so a lot of these places, I've been there. And so that gives me that little connection to them. I've been to your town where you live, and I know where you are.
That's cool.
And it makes a big difference, because then they feel comfortable now, more comfortable with me, because they think, well, she knows where we live, and she's interested in us, And you have to, I genuinely want to have a rapport with these people.
And help them through that process, and any information like that to strengthen that relationship, especially you having experience where they're coming from. I could see how that would be really cool.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It really does. And, that was fortunate. I mean, I traveled for 13 years constantly. Anywhere there probably was a Burger King. So...
Switching gears now, is there any advice that you would give to those interested in real estate or maybe in real estate currently?
Oh, I think you have to. I just go back to the most important thing, and that's relationship building with people. I don't, I've told my clients, they'll apologize to me, and it happens from time to time. They'll say, you know what, I'm sorry it's taking us so long. I I don't really care how long it takes. Okay?
Right.
Because what's important to me is that you're down here, you're wanting to buy something to fulfill your dream. Mm-hmm. Whatever that dream might be, whether it be lakefront or a nice little acreage. And I know how important that is because my husband and I, we wanted to have a lake house years ago. Mm-hmm. And when we finally got it, it was like, whew, we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And it gives you such a sense of satisfaction. And so that's what I would say to people is that think about it from your perspective. Why did you want to come to the lake? Why do you want to be here at the lake? And then transition that into that person.
I love that. And I call those moments where you are thankful and you think, oh, yeah, I'm here. I did it. I call those, those moments where you're adulting correctly, which is pretty cool. What is something that has you excited about our industry in 2021?
Oh gosh, let's see. I guess the opportunity to move forward with new people. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of clients, past clients last year in 2020. In 2021, I believe that I may see more new folk that I'm dealing with.
And, I agree with that assumption, Vicki, because I think that we're not done with seeing more people transition to the lake, taking the time, and especially with, all the volatility in the world, trying to find a place like Lake of the Ozarks where they can fulfill their dreams and stuff like that. So I definitely share that same excitement for that, for our industry.
I think it'll just be for me, it's going to be just a little bit different because I did. There were so many of my clients that bought something or sold something this last year. So I feel that that's probably what I'm going to see this year.
Mm-hmm. New relationships.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Which is nice because now I've got some new friends.
Right, exactly. Yeah, new friends. So what is something that you would like our listeners to know about you or your business?
I'm pretty easy to work with. I would be willing to help anybody. If anybody ever has a questions or wants to know something or needs help with something, I love to help people. That's what I live for, honestly. Mm-hmm. And as far as my business is concerned, I'm just hoping that I have a better year than I had last year, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal. And I love that you are always, me knowing you personally as well, I can attest to what you just said, and always being open-armed with wanting to help, wanting to share information, even if it's just a market-specific question or something that has to do with real estate as a whole. So regardless if you're a client or another agent, you try to find answers and help them. So I really appreciate that from
thank you.
Okay, so last question, fun question.
Oh, fun question. Okay.
It's kind of a rapid fire, so you might not be prepared, but what is your favorite place to eat down here at the lake?
Oh, I would have to say JB Hooks.
JB Hooks? Yeah, I love JB Hooks.
Oh, well, I'm there frequently.
Frequently.
So.
Yes, JB Hooks is fantastic. Next one, your favorite place to shop, because I love all of your outfits and your clothes and how put together you are, so I had to ask you that one.
Well, thank you. Well, my favorite place, of course, we don't have one down here, is DSW, which is a shoe store.
I love that store.
So, yes. I make a point of visiting because it's like an addiction that I have to pacify every once in a while. So, yes, so that's my deal. But I guess passion also goes to clothes because that's what I do too. That's my decorating, I guess.
I love it. Well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more thankful to Vicki for bringing her experience and story here and sharing it with us. Remember to treat others how you would want to be treated and never stop learning and sharing. We have more episodes coming, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays and like and subscribe to our pages or share us with those who love the lake area as much as you do. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes or growthriveinspirepodcast.com. Spring is here in a few days, and we want to help you spring into your next home or vacation spot. So be sure to also check out our open houses coming up. Open houses are posted on Thursdays for the upcoming weekend on our Facebook page. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire. And we'll catch you next time.